Boom. Okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. What do I want to do? All right. Starting at, where am I at? Genesis 36, chapter 4. And Ada bare to Eliphaz, and Bashemath bare Reuel, and Alibama bare Jehush, and Jalam, and Kor. These are the sons of Esau, which are born unto him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives and his sons. Oh, lost track. And wives and his sons and his daughters and all the persons of his house and his cattle and all of his beasts and all his substance which he had got in the land of Canaan, and went into the country from the face of his brother Jacob. For their riches were more than that they might dwell together, and the land wherein they were strangers could not bear them because of their cattle. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. And these are the generations of Esau. Wait. Okay. Reuel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau, and the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatam, and Kenaz, and Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare Eliphaz, Amalek. These were Amalek. These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Reuel, Nahath, and Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Bashemoth, Esua's wife. And these were the sons of Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, Esua's wife. And she bare to Esua Jehush and Jalam. And Jalam? I think it's Jalam. Jalam and Korah. These were dukes of the sons of Esua, the sons of Eliphaz. I lost it. Oh, shoot. The firstborn son of Esua. Duke Taman, Duke Umar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gadam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Ada, and these are the sons of Reuel, Esua's son. Duke Nahath, Duke Zerah, Duke Shammah, Duke Mizah. These are the dukes that came of Reuel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Bashemath, Esua's wife. These are the sons of Ishua, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land, Lotan and Shobal, and Zibeon, and Anah, and Dishon, and Ezer, and Dishon. Wait, I said the same thing, right? Oh, shoot. Dishon, and Dishon. These are the dukes of the Horites, the children of Seir, in the land of Edom. And the children of Lotan were Hori and Himman. And Lotan's sister was Timnah. Timnah? And the children of Shobal were these: Alvan and Manahath, and Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. And these are the children of Zibeon, both Ajah and Anah. This was that Anah that found the mules in the wilderness, as he fed the asses of Zibeon his father. And the children of Anah were these: Dishon and Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah. And these are the children of Dishon: Himdan, and Eshban, and Ithran, and Sharon. The children of Ezer are these: Bilhan, and Zavan, and Akan. The children of Dishon are these: Uz and Adon. These are the dukes that came of the Horites: Duke Lotan, Duke Shobal, Duke Zibeon, Duke Anah, Duke Dishon, Duke Ezer, Duke Dishon. These are... Wait, I swear I'm saying it wrong. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Because it says Duke Dishon, and Dishon. But I feel like they sound the same to me. Alright. These are the dukes that came of Hori, among their dukes in the land of Seir. And these are the kings that reigned in the land of Edom, before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozar, reigned in his stead. And Jobab died, and Husham of the land of Timani reigned in his stead. And Husham died, and Hadad, the son of Bedad, who smote Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his stead. And the name of the city was Avith. And Hadad died. And Samalah of Masrekah, reigned in his stead. You sometimes kind of forget that Christians aren't all like they're okay. So people from the Old Testament are somewhat Arabic and possibly even Islamic as well, or Indian. I guess. Well, not Indian, but you know what I mean. Well, I guess you might not know what I mean. I don't know what I'm talking about. All I know is that I know for a fact Arabs and Egyptians were very heavily tied into the history of the Bible. That's all I know. Her dad died, and Saul died, and Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbor, reigned in his stead. And Baal-Hanan, the son of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his stead. And the name of his city was Pau, maybe Pau. And his wife's name was Mehetabel, the daughter of Metred, the daughter of Mizab. Excuse me. And these are the names of the dukes that came of Issaoah, according to their families, after their places, by their names: Duke Timnah, Duke Alva, Duke Jetheth, Duke Alibama, Duke Elah, Duke Pinan, Duke Kenaz, Duke Timon, Duke Mibzar, Duke Magdia, Duke Edom. These be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitations in the land of their possession. He is Issaoah, the father of Edomites. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with his sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zivlah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and all also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams, and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon of the 11 stars made obeisance to me. And he told it to his father and to his brethren. And his father rebuked him, said unto him, What is this dream that said unto you? What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee, to the earth? And his brethren envied me, but his father observed the same. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in the Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, now I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren, and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron. And he came to Shechem, and a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, saying, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek my brethren. Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departed hence. For I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren, and found them in Dothan. And when they saw him from afar, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. And they said one to another, Behold, the dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we shall see what will become of his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. And Reuben said unto them, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit, that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto of his coat of many colors that was on him, and they took him and cast him into a pit. And the pit was empty, there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked. And behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels bearing spicier and balm of myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh. And his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianites, merchantmen, and they drew. Then there passed by Midianites merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they brought Joseph into Egypt. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent in his clothes. And he returned to his brethren and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be thy son's coat or no. And he knew it, and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt, rent in pieces. And Jacob rent his clothes, and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, and captain of the guard. Okay. And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from his brethren and turned into a certain Adullamite, whose name was Hira, and Judah saw there a daughter a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shua, and he took her and went in unto her, and she conceived and bare a son, and he called his name Sorry for that one. And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son, and called his name Shelah. and he was a Chezib when she bare him. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. The Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go and unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up the seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilt it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he died also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dwelt in her father's house. And in process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted, and went up unto his sheep shearers to Timnath. He and his friend Hira the Adulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Timnath to shear his sheep. And she put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place which is by the way to Timnath, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be an harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt thou give me, that thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, The signet, and thy bracelets, and thy staff, and staff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came in unto her. And she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil from her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend to Adulamite, to receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place openly by the place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place said that there was no harlot in this place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after, that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar thy daughter-in-law hath played the harlot. And also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with the child. And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these? The signet, and the bracelets, and staff. And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I gave her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed, that The one put on his hand, and the midwife took and bound upon his hand a scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as he drew back his hand, that, behold, his brother came out. And she said, Hmm? Oh, and she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name was called Pharez. And afterward came out his brother, and had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zara. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, which had brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw the Lord was with him, and that Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house. And all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew that he knew not what he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly is that supposed to be a goodly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master who wotteth not what is which what not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, as he spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house with house there within. I don't know why I'm struggling with that so much. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he let his garment in his hand, and he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in a Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid upon his garment by her until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him, According to which thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, and his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and shewed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison, and whatsoever they did, that he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to anything that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him. In that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. And it came to pass after these things, that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker had offended their lord the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was wroth against two of his officers, against the chief of the butlers, and against the chief of the bakers. And he put them in ward in the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, and they continued a season in ward. And they dreamed a dream, both of them, each man his dream in one night, each man according to the interpretation of his dream, the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, which were bound in the prison. And Joseph came in unto them in the morning, and looked upon them, and behold, they were sad. And he asked Pharaoh's officers that were with him in the ward of his lord's house, saying, Wherefore look ye so sadly today? And they said unto him, We have dreamed a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. And Joseph said unto them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me them, I pray you. And the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, In my dream, behold, a vine was before me, and in the vine were 3 branches, and it was though it budded, it was as though it budded, and her blossoms shot forth, and the clusters therefore brought forth ripe grapes. And Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup. And I gave the cup into Pharaoh's hands. And Joseph said unto him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thine head, and restore thee unto thy place. And thou shalt deliver Pharaoh's cup into his hand, after the former manner, when thou wast his butler. But think on me when it shall be well with thee, and shew kindness, I pray thee, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Hebrews. Here also have I done nothing that they should put me into the dungeon. When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. And in the uppermost basket there was of all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh. And the birds did eat them out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation therefore. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up thy head from off thee, and shall hang thee on a tree, and the birds shall eat thy flesh off the tree. And it came to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief butler and chief baker among his servants, and restored the chief butler unto his butlership. Again, he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him. Did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot him? And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years, that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine, and fat flesh, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them out of the river, ill-favored and lean-fleshed, and stood by the other kine upon the brink of the river. And all the ill-favored and lean-fleshed kind did eat up the 7 well-favored and fat kind. So Pharaoh awoke, and he slept and dreamed the second time, and behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good, blasted with the east wind sprung up after them. And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears. And Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And it came to pass in the morning that his spirit was troubled, and he sent and called for all the magicians of Egypt and all the wise men therefore. And Pharaoh told them of his dream, but there was none that could interpret them unto Pharaoh. Then spake the chief butler unto Pharaoh, saying, I do remember my faults this day. Pharaoh was wroth with his servants, and put me in ward in the captain of the guard's house, both me and chief baker. And we dreamed a dream in one night, and I and he, we dreamed each man according to the interpretation of his dream. And there was there with us a young man, an Hebrew, servant to captain of the guard, and we told him, and he interpreted to us our dream, to each man according to his dream, and he did interpret. Dream he did interpret. And it came to pass, as he interpreted to us, so it was me he restored unto mine office, and him he hanged. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him hastily out of the dungeon. And he shaved himself, and changed his raiment, and came in unto Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I have dreamed a dream. There is none that can interpret it. And I have heard say of thee that thou canst, am I saying that right? Canst understand a dream to interpret. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, It is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, In my dream, behold, I stood upon the bank of the river, and behold, they came up of the river 7 kine, flat-fleshed and well-flavored, and they fed in a meadow. And behold, 7 other kine came up after them, poor and very ill-favored, and lean-fleshed, such as I never saw in all the land of Egypt for badness. And the lean and the ill-favored kind did eat up the first 7 fat kine. And when they had eaten them, it could not be known that they had eaten them, but they were still ill-favored, as at the beginning. So I awoke, and I saw in my dream, and behold, 7 ears came up in one stalk, full and good. And behold, 7 ears withered, thin, and blasted with the east wind, sprung up after them. And the thin ears devoured 7 good ears. And I told this unto the magicians, but there was none that could declare it to me. And Joseph said unto Pharaoh, The dream of Pharaoh is one. God hath shewed Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good kine are 7 years, and 7 good ears are 7 years, and the 7 good ears are 7 years. The dream is one, and the 7 thin and ill-favored kine that came up after them are 7 years, and the 7 empty ears blasted with the east wind shall be 7 years of famine. Okay, I remember this. 7 years of famine. This is the thing which I have spoken unto Pharaoh, what God is about to do. He sheweth unto Pharaoh, Behold, there come 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt, and there shall arise after them 7 years of famine, and all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. And the plenty shall not be known in the land by reason of that famine. Following, for it shall be very grievous. Excuse me. And for that the dream was doubled unto Pharaoh twice, because the thing is established by God, and God will shortly bring it to pass. Now, therefore, let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. Let Pharaoh do this, let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the fifth part of the land of Egypt in the plenteous years. Let them gather all the food of those good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh. And let them keep food in the cities, and that food shall be for the store to land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perish not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eye of Pharaoh, in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And the Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, For as much as God hath shewed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh took off his ring from his hand, and put it onto Joseph's hand, and arrayed him in vestures of fine linen, and put a gold chain about his neck. And he made him to ride in the second chariot which he had. And they cried before him, bowed the knee, and he made him ruler over all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, I am Pharaoh, and without thee shall no man lift up his hand or foot in all the land of Egypt. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath Paneah, and he gave him to wife as Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On. And Joseph went out over all the land of Egypt. That was so confusing for some reason. Oh my goodness. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh, and went throughout all the land of Egypt. And in the several plenteous years the earth brought forth by handfuls, and he gathered up all the food of the 7 years, which were in the land of Egypt, and laid up the food in the cities. The food of the field which was around about every city laid he up in the same. And Joseph gathered corn as the sand of the sea, very much until he left numbering, for it was without number. And unto Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bare unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said, He hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. And the name of the second called the Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. Yeah, I think that's how I said that. And the 7 years of plenteousness that was in the land of Egypt were ended, and several years of dearth began to come, according as Joseph had said, and the dearth was in all lands. But in all the land of Egypt there was bread. And when all the land of Egypt was famished, the people cried to Pharaoh for bread. And Pharaoh said unto all the Egyptians, Go unto Joseph, what he has said to you, do. And the famine was over all the face of the earth. And Joseph opened all the storehouses, and sold unto the Egyptians. The famine waxed sore in the land of Egypt. And all countries came into Egypt to Joseph for to buy corn, because that famine was sore in all the lands. Now, when Jacob saw that there was corn in Egypt, Jacob said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is corn in Egypt. Get you down, down thither, and buy for us from thence, and that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy corn in Egypt. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Jacob, sent not with his brethren, for he said, Wait, I lost it. For he said, Lest peradventure mischief befall him. I lost it again. And the sons of Israel came to buy corn among those that came from the famine. From the famine was in the land of Canaan. And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. The brothers accused of being spies. And Joseph remembered the dreams of which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my lord, but to buy food are thy servants come. We are all one man's son. We are true men. Thy servants are no spies. The nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Thy servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it. And I spake unto you, saying, Ye are spies, and hereby shall ye be proved by the life of Pharaoh, ye shall not go forth. Hence, except your youngest brother come hither, send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, in that prison, that your words may be proved whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh surely ye are spies. And he put them all together into ward 3 days. Joseph said unto them, The third day this do and live, for I fear God. And if ye be true men, let one of our brethren be bound to the house of your prison. Go ye, carry corn for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and you shall not die. And they did so. And they said one to another, We are very guilty concerning our brother, in that we saw the anguish of his soul when he besought us. And we would not hear, therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spake I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child, and ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spake unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Simeon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with corn, and restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. Of thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the corn, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender in the inn, he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. Okay. And he said, I'm gonna need a. I'm switching the camera real quick because I want to be in a little bit more comfortable position, and this is not comfortable. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Most likely cannot see like the actual text itself. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about that, but my back's hurting from leaning over. Unfortunately, actually, I have an idea. No, that's not what I pressed. Okay. Okay. And then boom, boom, boom. Okay. And he said unto his brethren, my money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, what is it? What is this that God hath done unto us? And they came unto Jacob their father unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, the man who is the Lord of the land spake roughly to us, and took us for spies of the country. He said unto him, we are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Lord of the country, said unto us, hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, take food for the famine of your households, and be gone. And bring your youngest brother unto me, and then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Jacob their father said unto them, me and ye bereaved, that is a weird word, bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away, and all these things are against me. And Reuben spake unto his father, saying, slay my 2 sons. If I bring him not to thee, deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to thee again. And he said, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way of which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the corn which they had brought out of Egypt, their father said unto them, go again, buy us a little food. And Judah spake unto him, saying, the man did solemnly protested unto us, saying, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. If thou wilt send our brother with us, we will go down and buy thee food. But if thou wilt not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Israel said, wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man whether ye had yet a brother? And they said, the man asked us straitly of our state, and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words, could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down. Judah said unto Israel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, and that we may live and not die. Both we and thou, and also our little ones. Surety. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shalt thou require him, if I bring him not unto thee, and set him before thee, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now had returned the second time. And their father Israel said unto them, It must be so. Now do this: take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and mere nuts and almonds, and take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks, carry it again in your hand. Peradventure it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, go again unto the man, and God Almighty give you mercy before the man, and he may. Oh shoot, I lost it again. Money in their hand, and Benjamin rose up and went down to Egypt and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said unto the ruler in his house, Bring these men home and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade, and the man brought the men into Joseph. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. Okay, I'm good now. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house, and they said, because of the money that was. Oh shoot! Let me just fix this. Wrong way, sorry, wrong way. Wrong way, sorry, wrong way. And then slightly to the left. Okay. Oh, I'm on the second page. Okay. Returned in our sacks at the first time are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen, and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed down at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, excuse me, where am I at? When it came to the inn, it came to pass, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, our money in full weight, and we have brought it and get it again in our hand. And other women and other money have we brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put our money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your God and God of your father hath given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Simeon out unto them. And the man brought the men into the house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet, and he gave their asses provender. And they made ready the present against Joseph came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand into the house, and bowed themselves to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and said, Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spake, is he yet alive? And they answered, Thy servant, our father, is in good health, yet he is yet alive. They bowed down their heads and made obedience. Obeisance. I don't know what that means. And he lifted up his eyes, and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother, in whom ye spake unto me? And he said, God be gracious unto thee, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his bowels did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered to his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face and went out and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, and for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with the Hebrews, for what is an abomination unto the Egyptians. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled one at another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. But Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs, and they drank, and were merry with him. And he commanded, oh, that's a voice crack. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, Fill the men's sack with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. Pause. My fault. It's serious. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, and they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, Up, follow after the men, and when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil so in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And they said unto him, Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sack's mouths we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. Now then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold, with whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondmen. Don't know what that means. And he said, Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. He searched, and began at the eldest, and left at the youngest, and the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. Then they rent their clothes, and laded I think that's how you say, laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there, and they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, What deed is this that ye have done? What ye not set that such a man as I can certainly divine? And Judah said, What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. As for you,
Get you up in peace unto your father. Then Judah came near unto him, and said, O my lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my lord's ears. And let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh. My lord asked his servants, saying, Have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my lord, We have a father, and an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he alone is left um of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my lord. And our father said, Go again and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, Ye know that my wife bare me 2 sons, and the only one went out from me. And I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs and Saul to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life. It shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die. And thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant, our father, with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, I shall bear the blame of my father forever. Now therefore I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad instead of the lad a bondman to my lord. And let the lad go up with his brethren. For now shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. Then Joseph could not refrain himself before all them that stood by him. And he cried, Cause every man to go out from me, and there stood no man with him, while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And he wept aloud. And the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I am Joseph. Doth my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were troubled at his presence. And Joseph said unto his brethren, Come near to me, I pray you. And they came near. And he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom ye sold into Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that ye sold me hither. For God did send me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years hath the famine been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be earing nor harvest. And God sent me before you to serve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you that sent me hither, but God, and he hath made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout all the land of Egypt. Haste ye and go up to my father, and say unto him, Thus saith thy son Joseph, God hath made me lord of all Egypt. Come down unto me, tarry not, and thou shalt dwell in the land of Goshen. And thou shalt be near unto me, thou and thy children, and thy children's children, and thy flocks, and thy herds, and all that thou hast, and there will I nourish thee, for yet there are 5 years of famine, lest thou and thy household and all that thou hast come to poverty, and behold, your eyes see, and the eyes of my brothers Benjamin, that it is my mouth that speaketh unto you. And ye shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt, and all that ye have seen, and all that ye have seen. And ye shall haste and bring down my father hither. And he fell upon his brother Benjamin's neck, and wept. And Benjamin wept upon his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brethren, and wept unto them, upon them. And after that his brethren talked with him. And the fame thereof was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, Joseph's brethren are come, and it pleased Pharaoh well and his servants. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Say unto thy brethren, this do ye, lade your beasts and go, get you unto the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households, and come unto me, and I will give you the good of the land of Egypt, and ye shall eat the fat of the land. Excuse me. Now thou art commanded, this do ye take you wagons out of the land of Egypt, for your little ones and for your wives, and bring your father and come. Also regard not your stuff, for the good of all the land of Egypt is yours. And the children of Israel did so. And Joseph gave them wagons according to the commandment of Pharaoh. It gave them provision for the way. To all of them he gave each man changes of raiment, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver, and 5 changes of raiment. And to his father he sent after this manner: 10 asses laden with the good things of Egypt, and 10 asses and 10 she asses laden with corn and bread and meat for his father by the way. So he sent his brethren away, and they departed. And he said unto them, See that ye fall not out by the way. And they went up out of Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan unto Jacob their father, and told him, saying, Joseph is yet alive, and he is governor over all the land of Egypt. Jacob's heart fainted, for he believed them not. And they told him all the words of Joseph which he had said unto them. And when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And Israel said, It is enough. Joseph my son is yet alive. I will go and see him before I die. And Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba, and offered sacrifices unto the God of his father Isaac. God spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob, and said, Jacob, Jacob. Okay. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am God, the God of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation. I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon thine eyes. And Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones and their wives in the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him. Okay. So we started at, I'm so glad I left the marker here. We started at page 66, or Genesis 36 to 36 chapter 4, and we ended on page 81, Genesis 46 chapter 5. My first thought when it comes to let me just switch over my camera real quick. Just fix my camera real quick. I wonder if I can have presets for camera angles and whatnot so that I don't have to do this. I'm gonna have to check that out after this. After what we're doing now. Okay. So, what was it? 34 or Genesis 34 chapter, I think it was 6 or no, chapter 7. No, chapter 4. And to Genesis 46 chapter 5. Okay. First impressions, mind you, this is like my first time ever reading the Bible, so like each passage is like something I've never read before. But from what I've seen and from my first impressions of what happened, two things I can take away from this are: one, pride, jealousy, and envy will always be your downfall. We see that with the brothers of is it Joseph? The brothers of Jacob. No, it was Joseph. The brothers of Joseph had essentially faked his death, or what's the word? What's the word that people use for this? They staged his death in order to gain favor with the father, because he was Joseph was Jacob's favorite son, essentially. And what's funny is that I don't think he was his blood son, because he was the son of one of his wives, but I don't think he birthed him. Although I might have to look back and see, but he did not birth him, nor did he do anything, or I won't say do anything, but he was essentially his favorite. Now, the reason for that being is most likely because he was a good soul, a good person for the most part. He seemed very wise. He was very faithful to God. We see in the Bible a lot, like people. I won't say characters, but people in the Bible. They weren't very. They were keen to listening to God when it benefited them, but they never really listened to Him for everything. They never came and listened to Him for everything, and it was never like a. They didn't actively. They seeked out His wisdom, but for Joseph, he was more or less always being guided. It wasn't as if he was seeking guidance. It was always like God was always there, and he always believed he was there. So he never had to question or ask for things, because God was always there to give it to him. Because he believed in him, because he had faith in him. Because his faith never wavered, at least from what I've seen yet. There's still a lot to Genesis, so I don't know yet, but I know for a fact that from what we've seen, he was completely faithful to God. He did everything right. He got hoed though. I will say he got hoed because freaking I can't remember her name, but the quote unquote harlot, who wasn't really a harlot, she faked it, was his daughter in law. So he got hoed because that was never supposed to happen. Like, that's not, so in the Bible it's taboo, for people who don't know, for incest, or for a father, whether it be step or biological, to have intercourse, or to lay upon, in this case, in the way the Bible says it, to lay upon your daughter or your child, right? We see that, we're going to see that a lot more in the Bible. Cousins are fine in the Bible, so they don't really, okay, they specify it, but they don't really say it's a bad thing, nor they paint it in a bad light. Okay. Another thing to add to that is that Joseph got hold, or maybe not Joseph, it might have been Jacob. I don't remember specific. I think it was Jacob. He got hold with all of his children, and that hurt. That hurt my soul, because he went through like four children died, and these are like multiple wives that he has, and like four of his children died. So him having children, point blank period, was always something that he cherished and that he loved, and he seemed like a pretty decent father, right? He had his favorite, but he wasn't neglectful. He wasn't neglectful of his children. And so I think that him losing Joseph when he did, or supposedly losing Joseph when he did, it hurt him. It rocked him because not only was he his favorite son, but he was also another child that he had lost. Again, I don't distinctly remember if it was either Joseph or Jacob's child, but if it's Jacob's child, then it makes sense as to why he felt the way he did about giving his son, his youngest to the trip to Jacob, even though he doesn't know that Joseph is the merchant, or I guess the person that is handing out all the food, but he all he knows is that he's trying to get his son, his youngest son, to go, right? And in my mind, the reason why he's not worried about his other sons is because A, they're grown men, they've lived a life, they they make their own choices, they make their own decisions. So he's not really worried about them in the same way that he would be worried about his youngest, because his youngest is probably not that old. He's probably in his like teenage years, and the way they describe him, yeah, he's probably not that. He's probably not that experienced with life. He's probably not that adept. Um, he's probably not very experienced in a lot of fields, especially when it comes to life. And life is dangerous, and we already see that with how they portrayed his son being eaten or mauled by a beast, is what we're gonna call them. We don't know what these beasts are, and beasts don't necessarily have to be like tigers or lions or like hyenas or anything. They don't have to be ferocious. They can also be stuff like camels or cows, although they do have different names for cows in the Bible. To say that beast doesn't apply to all animals is a bit slow, because it doesn't make sense as to why you would phrase it as take your beast and go on to Jacob or something like that. I can't remember exactly the phrasing for it, but I know that they use beast to describe the um what do I call it? The animals that were being used for transportation, essentially. So like pack mules and whatnot, they're probably considered beasts because they're not human. So that's just what that is. But I digress. I got kind of sidetracked. Anyways, yeah, I can see why Jacob felt the way he did about sending his son. I would feel some type of way too, because I don't know exactly. They didn't really specify how old Joseph was when they framed his murder, but I'm pretty sure, or framed his death, but I'm pretty sure he's decently young. That's probably why he was so scared to give his youngest away, because his other son died or supposedly died fairly young. Um, Something else that I really, really loved about this um this specific passage, or at least this specific section, because a lot of the start of this was just us seeing what the family tree looked like, and like seeing all the daughters, all the sons and whatnot. And it's so taxing to read all of that, and it's important because you get to see the bloodlines, you get to see the relations, you get to see like who's daughter of who and who's son of who, and like where did all these people come from, and all the different nations, all the different rulers, all the different dukes in this case. And I think it's important for the history aspect. In terms of a story aspect, it's just a lot of, oh, this person's this daughter, or oh, this person came onto this person and they bear like four children or whatnot. Also, another thing, bro, people be getting busy in the Bible. People can be getting busy in the Bible, and I guess polygamy is okay in the Bible. I don't know. Maybe it's because of how we've raised our culture. I'm not saying our culture is right by any means. I think it's because of the way that I was raised. It just seems weird to me, and the culture that I'm surrounded by. But maybe polygamy is something that isn't that bad if it's being described in the Bible. It's not being like demonized in the Bible. I'm guessing that it's not necessarily a bad thing to be polygamous. I think the main thing is faithfulness. I think faithfulness is a little bit different, because you can be polygamous in a relationship and still be faithful, if that makes sense. Because you're not having this wife without the say so of the other wives, right? And the other wives understand that polygamy is necessary, especially if you're a king or a ruler of any kind, because you know what I'm saying, you need to retain the bloodline and whatnot. And if they love you, if they genuinely love you, if they take care of you, he's gonna spend his time with all of his wives. And he has a first wife, he has a second wife. I understand that he has a favorite. He might have a favorite wife. I'm not saying that's okay, but I'm saying that in the context of that era, it makes sense why they would be polygamous. It also doesn't seem like God has a problem with it, being polygamous. Not that I would be polygamous. I feel like that's too much work. I can't manage multiple women at a time. I don't even know how to manage one woman at a time. So that would never happen with me. I can't do that. But just be faithful. Being faithful doesn't mean that you stay loyal to one partner. It means that you do not disrespect that partner in the relationship in any way, shape, or form. What I mean by that is that you can have multiple partners, but it has to be agreed upon by all parties. Not only that, but the wife has to have a say so in who he wives. That should be obvious. I mean, like, the relationship doesn't work unless it's coming from both sides, right? You're not gonna have two fathers. That's just not gonna happen. That's just not how it works, I guess, because that's considered unfaithful. Because if you bear more than one person's child, then you're giving your chastity away to somebody else. That makes sense, right? Um, to some extent, I don't know. I don't know how fair that is to women, but I don't know what to tell you. I think we think of it differently, which is why I think intrinsically women and men have like intrinsic difference in the way that they like perceive relationships. So it's easier, and I'm not saying like it's okay or nothing like that, but it's easier for a woman to accept polygamy versus a man accepting polygamy, because there's always going to be like that power struggle between who's the main honcho, who's the head honcho, who's the man of the house, right? So having one man at the center of multiple women makes more sense than having a woman at the center of every man, because every man is going to be fighting for that first place spot, and most men can't take the hit to their pride. So it's not, so that's never going to happen. That's never. I'm going to tell you that right now. You're not going to have like four plus men and one woman. Like, that's just not gonna happen. It's just not realistic. Now, a man with four women, maybe if he's a good father, he can do it all. He can do it all. I feel like if he's a good enough father, he can lead the house. He can provide for his family. I feel like that makes it's a little bit more digestible than having four men and one woman. I don't know if that sounds misogynistic. I apologize. I apologize. I digress from that. Another side tangent. I think that Genesis as a whole is like the building a foundation. I don't even see it as, it's not even, I don't even like to say it's like the main story or like the main girth of the book. It's kind of like it's kind of like the epilogue or the prologue. It's kind of like the prologue. That sounds so weird, but like the way that it feels like the story, or I guess the history is going, feels like there's a lot of building and a lot of building blocks. There's not a lot of happening, right? Like we have the famine, the great famine and whatnot, and I think that's a very important to the Bible, because it's very significant in the history of the Bible. I don't like, and I knew about the 7 Day famine. I knew about the 7 Day famine even before like I started reading the Bible, because I used to go to church and whatnot. So I didn't read the Bible actively, but I knew of things. And the 7 Day famine, or 7 year the 7 year famine was wild. So that I can't wait to see Moses splitting the Red Sea. By the way, I didn't talk about this enough, but once I get to that part, I don't know where that is. If anyone in the chat wants to tell me, I don't know where that is, but this Moses splitting the sea, the Red Sea, or the sea in general. I need that in the book, because I know the storytelling is gonna be immaculate. The amount of detail they go into with just explaining a person's lineage, a bloodline, I better see absolute cinema levels of writing for this master class of writing for the Red Sea, because that's a really 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 cool that's a really cool aspect of the Bible. Like that's like one of the cool things that happen in the Bible that I really want to see. I'm not holding out just for that, by the way. I want you to know that I'm reading the Bible to be closer to God, but I'm also reading the Bible to see some cool stuff. Like I'm like, bro, the Noah's Ark was awesome in the sense that he built all of that, and people in the Old Testament, bro, they lived for a long time. They lived for a long time, like pre flood, bro. People lived for a long time. Even after pre flood, people lived for a long time. Like, bro, they was living for hundreds of years, not 100 years, no, hundreds of years. People were reaching 700. Somebody reached dang near 1,000. Somebody reached almost a whole millennia. Do you understand how crazy that is? Somebody reached almost 1,000 years. We got century-year-old people in the Bible right now, or before. It's not the case now because people are over here dying at 97, which is still a really high life expectancy in that day and age. Because you had no medicine, no nothing, bro. You had no medical like technology and whatnot, or at least not that I know of. Like not advanced enough to be saving a lot of people's lives from some of the illnesses that came in. We don't know how the death toll looked in the Bible, or at least in the Old Testament, or even not even just the Old Testament in Genesis and whatnot, from what I've seen. We might start getting counts because of the Great Famine. The Great Famine is gonna kill some people off like crazy, and it sucks. It really, really sucks. I think if you planned it out very good enough, I think that's what they did with Joseph and whatnot. They had Joseph. He had the vision. God gave him the vision. He saw that vision through. He made sure his people was good. The people of Egypt was good. He made sure people from other nations were good because the famine didn't just hit Egypt. It was said in the Bible itself. It didn't just hit Egypt. It hit other places as well. It hit Canaan first off. Didn't know that. So you learn something new every day, especially in the Bible, because you know what I'm saying. They have a lot of extensive background on a lot of things, and the way that they tie in Joseph being this person that is mysterious to his brothers because his brothers never saw him for him. They only saw how great he was in the eyes of his father. So they never like saw him for him. So I think that's a part of the aspect, and they didn't want to see him for him either. So I think that's part of the aspect as to why they didn't know it was him at first. Another thing to add to that is that I don't know if that was the case or if he used a middleman to tell them these things. Because I feel like even if you don't like the dude, bro, you should still be able to notice he's one of your brothers. Not only that, but he's a brother that you committed, that you framed for death, right? So you framed him. You have to remember his face at that point because there's no way you're just gonna let him. There's no way you see him and not immediately recognize him as your brother. That doesn't make sense, especially with how much it weighed on their minds that they killed him, or I guess sold him to Egypt and then framed his death. Like all of that weighs on a person's mind. Like you're not gonna sit here and tell me they just up and forgot about him after a couple of years. That's not. No, no, God, no. That doesn't make sense. Ooh, but yeah, no. Uh, Genesis 34, chapter 4 to Genesis 46, chapter 5. Great. Loved it. It was interesting. First time reading it. Yeah, no, it was interesting. I have a hard time reading the Bible simply because it uses words that we don't typically use. Very old language, very traditional language. It's hard because of how because they structure it in a way because this is the King James version, so it's supposed to be formatted in a way that is like into modern writing, like commas and whatnot. I don't know if they had commas back in the day, so this might be something that's just easy, make it easier for us to read. Again, I'm not an out loud reader. This is my first time reading out loud in a very long time since like high school because that's the only time we ever had to read out loud for real. I mean, you had like in college, you have like speeches, but you kind of wing those. You have to like you're memorizing a lot of it. It's not like you're sitting there. Okay, for some people, you are sitting there reading the paper because you didn't study beforehand, nor did you practice beforehand. doing the speech. So those people, yeah, they read out a lot. I had public speaking class last year, A stat junk, by the way, 96. I digress. But it wasn't. I wasn't really like an out loud reader. Even in my composition class, it wasn't reading as much as it was writing. And the only time we had to quote unquote read is for one of the projects where we had to make a sort of multimedia project, and I literally made a video and I didn't read anything, so I didn't read anything for that. Some people did because they made like infographics and whatnot, but I didn't read anything for that. That was just me doing me for real. That was me doing me for real. Also, some people were able to make apps. Still don't know how that works. I want to try to do that, but it seems hard. Seems very, very difficult. Well, they made it look easy, but it seems difficult to me. Like they formatted the entire thing. It's wild. Some people are just really, really talented. How did I get sidetracked? Regardless, not an outlaw reader. I'm gonna get better though. It's gonna be a long ride, a very long ride. It's gonna be years of reading this. Because bro, if I'm doing it, so essentially if I read the Bible every Sunday for an hour, if I get really efficient at reading and I don't have to go back and like reread stuff because I'm terrible at reading old language stuff, maybe I might be able to do it. But as of right now, I'm not confident. I'm not confident in finishing this in a year. But we'll see. We'll see how long it takes to finish this entire thing. I would like this. This is how much we read. This is how much we read, right? In an hour. This. Tell me, does this look like? Tell me if this looks like 365 days worth. This isn't even 365. Like 365 divided by however many days. If there's 6 days in 365 days, divide 365 by 6, and then you should be able to get your new number or something like that. You should get the number of one day of days or of Sundays, because you're just dividing by 6 instead of 7, which would get you how many weeks are in. You know what I'm saying? And then what am I talking about? What am I talking about? Like what am I actually talking about? Regardless, I don't know how long it's gonna take for this to happen. I might just like, if I'm get really, 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 really good at reading and I'm very focused and I like, you know what I'm saying, I don't like drift off, because once I get to a certain point in time when I'm reading, I almost want to go to sleep. I want to go to sleep. I'm not bored. I get tired. I get lulled because there's no stimulation. I'm just reading. I'm with myself a lot of the time, and I'm not talking to y'all during the reading because that's going to be distracting, right? So it's going to be interesting. I think that being able to read is a very, very important skill, and I think that having the ability to read for long periods of time is also a good skill, especially if I'm going to be doing this every single week. At the end of every single week, like this will be where we read the Bible, see what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? We talk to each other. We talk about what we got to talk about. The way that I'll structure these Bible studies is I will have it to where I'll read the entire way through. I'll ask you what your thoughts were, or what questions you might want me to answer, and then I'll jot down everyone's name. I'll jot down everyone's like names in the chat, because there's a chat side right here. So there's the chat. There's a temporary chat that shows up on screen for you guys, and then there's also the chat that shows up for me, or that's on the stream itself, and it's like the permanent chat, so I can see everyone's chats. So I'll just write down all the questions that people have, and then I'll like list off names and then the question they have, and then answer those questions. And
potentially might take hour, 2 hours to get through all the questions and whatnot. But I am dedicated to what I'm saying, interacting with my community. So if you want to do that, please do. Please. Yeah. I will be posting this on YouTube as well. That should be obvious, but some people don't really, what I'm saying. Yeah, no, but I'll read out and see what I can do for everyone. And you know what? Y'all have a great day. I was planning to read the other book I had in store for today, but since seeing as there's not a lot going on right now, not a lot of views and whatnot, I'm thinking maybe not do that. Maybe don't do that. But yeah.